Hey there guys, Zach here for Windows Central and welcome back to another video. Now today we're taking a look at CShell, Microsoft's new adaptable UI in the works for Windows 10. Stay tuned. So CShell is a new Windows shell currently in the works at Microsoft that will be coming to all kinds of Windows 10 devices when it's ready. And what it does is bring the same UI across devices, including phones, as you can see here. Unlike current Windows 10 Mobile, CShell introduces the same experience across desktop, tablet, PC, phone, and any other device that can run Windows 10. As you can see here, for example, we now have the exact same features that Desktop Start has on mobile. This includes context menus, additional live tile sizes, and additional options such as the ability to turn live tiles on and off for individual apps. This is the same desktop experience you know and love, now running on a phone. And apart from that, apart from the Windows shell, everything else still acts and behaves the same. You've still got your universal Windows apps that run much like you would expect them to. Now, keep in mind this is pre-release software, so a lot of the UI and animations and stuff aren't working in this build, but it's functional, which is why we're showing you. Task view is here and it works just like you would expect it to. It switches between apps. Everything continues to work much like a normal Windows phone, except this time we're running CShell, which enables additional functionality. CShell also introduces the Action Center to mobile devices. As you can see here, this is the Action Center you know and love now running on a phone, and it works much like you would expect. All of the quick actions are customizable. If you hold one of the quick actions, you will be able to go to that specific setting, and all of the notifications there are also actionable. So the calendar alert, for example, as you can see here, I can interact with and snooze and delay and whatever else you would normally expect to be able to do to a notification on desktop. This is the same experience, and that's kind of the goal of CShell, to bring the same experience across devices. It's the same shell that will be shared between phone devices, desktop, Xbox, HoloLens, and anything in between. Now, CShell also apparently introduces landscape mode to phones. Now, we're not sure if this is a bug or if it's designed to do this, but it works in this build and acts much like you would expect it to. It's essentially a universal landscape mode now. If I launch apps in landscape mode, the app will launch in landscape mode, and it works pretty much like you would expect. So, like I said, I'm not entirely sure if this is a bug or if this is its intended behavior, but it's cool to see nonetheless. There's also a new keyboard in the works that from first impressions feels just like the old one. This is a CShell component, so that does mean it will be coming to tablets and PCs eventually as well, including shape writing, which is pretty exciting on the larger devices. Now, CShell also enables additional functionality in Continuum. With CShell, Continuum becomes a lot more useful. We now have context menus, for example, on the Start menu, just like you would expect to find on a desktop or tablet. We can resize live tiles with our mouse, share them, rate them, turn live tile on and off, whatever you would expect. But not only that, CShell enables windowed mode within the Continuum environment. So now I can manipulate windows much like I would on a normal desktop. This includes resizing them, maximizing them, minimizing them, closing them, and opening more at the same time. So if I go to the Start menu here and launch another app, you'll see that much like on a normal Windows 10 PC, it will launch in another window in front of the current app that I've got open, and I can manipulate that window exactly the same. Now, again, since this is pre-release software, there are some bugs. For example, you'll see here that moving windows around is a little bit laggy, but it does work, and that's why we're showing it to you today. It's a really interesting and pretty exciting prospect. This is all running from a phone, remember. This is the HP Elite X3 powering all of this, and it works. So CShell essentially turns Continuum into something that's actually useful. I can now use a Windows phone as a desktop, much like I would expect to be able to use a desktop, including the ability to manipulate windows. As you can see here, I'm opening a Word document with the mobile versions of Word, since they run on Windows Phone, and I can pretty much write an entire document now. Not only that, since this is now a desktop environment, I can launch the Start menu and look for another app. For example, here, let's go and look for some music and play some music whilst I'm writing my report or whatever it is here. So let's find Groove somewhere in this list. There it is. And you'll notice Fluent design elements do work in Continuum now. So if I open up the hamburger menu here, you'll see that it feature transparency and hover effects and whatever else you want to see here. It all works just fine. So I can now play the music that I want to play, and that should begin streaming directly to my device and outplaying through the HP lap dock here. Let's look through the Explore tab quickly. Oh yeah, there's some more music that I probably won't like. Let's minimize this window and go back to our Word document so we can continue working on whatever it is we were working on. And as you'll see, the music continues playing in the background, much like you would expect it to, because now we are essentially using a full desktop experience. Now, there doesn't appear to be any limit with the amount of apps you can open, at least not yet. This is pre-release software after all, but I've been able to open several apps at one time, and the Elite X3 just continues chugging along. It is running a Snapdragon 820 with 4GB of RAM, keep in mind, however, so it's probably not a surprise to hear that this runs pretty well. So there you have it, guys. That's a very quick look at CShell running on a Windows-based phone. CShell will be coming to all kinds of Windows 10 devices eventually when it's ready. Make sure you check out Windows Central for the complete write-up on what CShell actually is and more information. Thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.